Amy Heckerling is one of the few female directors working regularly in mainstream Hollywood today. She burst onto the scene with the 1982 teen classic Fast Times at Ridgemont High. She followed that with the high-grossing Look Who's Talking series, which starred John Travolta. But it was her 1995 smash hit Clueless that solidified her spot among today's top directors. The film has since been adapted to television and airs Friday night on ABC, and I'm pleased to have her on this show. Welcome.
Hi.
Hi. Why did you do the television show?
When I originally thought of this happy character, it was in the context of it being a TV show. And so that was always my first idea, was that there would be this happy, optimistic California girl, and we would follow her adventures, you know, in a TV series. And then my agents at CAA read it, and they said, you know, you should take this character and make a feature.
Yeah.
So, and I was enjoying writing her so much, so I said, okay. And off I went.
When did you have a sense that it would be a hit when you were making the film?
No, you never can tell. You don't know what you're doing. You just hope for the best.
It's just
nobody knows.
Just do the best you can
Yeah.
and pray.
Right.
Yeah. When I described all those things about you as a director, I mean, there is a kind of cult-like thing about you. I mean, I know people who've seen Clueless 10 times. Don't you?
Kids, you know, when they like something, they go a lot.
I know they do. That's the
gotta
secret
love
of
them
making
for
movies.
that.
Find one that they want to see 100 times.
Yeah.
Like E.T. and those kind of things.
Right.
Yeah. But I mean, it has become almost. I mean, so has Fast Times and Clueless both have become something of films that people talk about. Now, Fast Times had such an extraordinary cast as well.
That was amazing. I mean, and they were just all out there. They were young, they were wonderful. You knew they were going to be big.
You knew that all of them.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, you could look and watch Sean and say, this is an actor.
Yeah. When you see young Sean Penn, and you know he's something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you see? What did you see?
I just remember the first time I walked into the casting director's office, and he was sitting on the floor outside the office, and he looked up at me, and he was just, there's such an intensity to him that you just know, whoa, there he is.
He came on this program, and he was one of the few people that I allowed to smoke because I knew that he would never make it without smoking.
Yeah.
But there was still, he was just, I get more, among 25 shows that people talk to me about, it is still Sean Penn. Because it was the first time he'd done television. And all that thing that you just described is what I saw, too.
There's just so much stuff going on inside him that he could filter through any part, and you're compelled to watch him.
Having done these two feature films and the Travolta films, and I talk about you as one of the mainstream top-line female directors, do you think of yourself that way? I mean, is that the sense that I'm talking about you?
No. I mean, it's, you know, mostly I just slop around the house and, you know, I just try to think of something to write and make some phone calls, whatever, feed my kid. And, you know, then every now and then you find yourself directing a movie, and it's just like you just go, how am I going to get up so early and live through this? And you know that at a certain date it'll be over, and you just hope that your brain cells keep working till then.
But do you think it's work for you because you have some natural instinct, some sense of understanding the psyche of an audience, A, and knowing how to provide entertainment for them, or B, because of this fancy training you got at NYU?
Fancy NYU training. No, you know, although I have been fortunate, I've had some wonderful teachers, and so, you know, I don't discount that in any way. But, you know, when you go out and you have something you want to say, or a character that you're in love with that you want to, you know, illustrate to the world, or something that, you know, is, you know, just some star like John Travolta and how he relates to babies, and you just, you know, are loving all of that. You hope that other people agree with you, but you never know. Yeah.
You had him when what some now call his fallow period.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah. It's like he's John Travolta. He was always John Travolta. He was always gorgeous and a brilliant actor and a wonderful singer and dancer and an amazing personality. And, you know, whether or not a film worked or didn't work, or he was up, he's down. I mean, you know, it's like...
For you, he was never an actor in the slump. He was just the right person for the part.
He was just John. He's just, I love him. You know?
Yeah. I just saw Nora Ephron, he's in her film, and she talks about him almost same way you do. Yeah. It's just glowing feeling about him as a craftsman and as an actor and someone to enjoy making a movie with.
Yeah, I mean, when you've worked with John, you want to do it some more. You just, he is such a wonderful personality and such a warm human being, and there's, you know, you never get tired of, like, you know, schlepping into the editing room and going, I have to look at him some more. It's, I mean, there's just so much to look at and to enjoy that, you know, you just can't say enough good stuff about him.
He's one of those people, too, that, however, he's gone into the stratosphere because of all the combination of beginning, I guess, with Pulp Fiction and things he's done since, and people cheer for that. I mean, he's one of those people that everybody wants to see have whatever he can have.
I mean, whatever it is that the audience always responded to in him makes them root for him as a person and as someone they want to see be a big star.
Yeah. When you think about your career, what is it that you want to do other than what you're doing?
I had these, like, set goals, and I wanted to do a Paramount, you know, I mean, a studio feature before I was 30, and I did that. And I wanted to have a movie that would be a hit the way boys had hits, not like a girl hit that made 50 million, but a boy hit that made hundreds of million. I did that. And so, like, I have to sort of, you know, part of me thinks, oh, you should set some more goals, but I don't know. I'd rather think, like, what interests me, what stories, you know, what characters am I gravitating to, and what do I want to say, and try to think of that.
Well, do you have one? Do you have a story and characters that you were working on that...
I have seeds of thoughts of concepts that may turn into ideas that could possibly...
Will you write it yourself or go hire a screenwriter?
No, I write.
You write it?
I love to write.
So you'll direct your own screenplay?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that's the most satisfying, when you know, you have an idea and you're alone in your room and you write it down, and then suddenly, you know, there's hundreds of people around you and some wonderful star, and you go, wow, it happened, you know?
Yeah. Take a look. This is a clip from the film first, Clueless the movie. Here it is with Cher and Dion and Amber having problems with tennis. And the television series is different how?
Well, a joke sort of like that last one you couldn't do on TV.
Right.
No. It's still those optimistic, empowered young girls, you know, sort of cluelessly making their way through life, and the boyfriends and the father with the, you know, sensible advice, and having a lot of fun in, you know, this fantasy world.
How did you know that world so well? I mean, how did you have your pulse on how they talk?
Well, I sat in classes at Beverly Hills High School, and other high schools too, but there was something about Beverly Hills High School. But a lot of it is made up. I mean, I hate to say, this is not exactly what goes on at that school. You know, people don't wear beautiful, coordinated fashions every day. Even in the richest schools, they're all, you know, wearing schlumpy, baggy clothes and sweatshirts. And but there were different aspects of what was going on there that I got a kick out of and put in the movie. Like, the girls were in a constant state of grooming. They have big makeup kits, bigger than any of the people you have working here, professionals. And you would think that within, you know, the few minutes that they spend in class, that their makeup wouldn't be needing so much repair. And yet they're constantly painting and sculpting and doing to themselves.
Right. Take a look at this. This is a television show, so you'll get a sense of what Clueless looks like on television on Friday night on ABC. You're executive producer of the series, but you produced and wrote this episode.
This episode I wrote and directed.
Yeah. Wrote and directed, not produced.
I've just co-wrote with Pamela Petler a few of the episodes. This one I wrote by myself and directed a few of them.
Is it as more demanding than film?
It's
to
different.
Do a weekly.
It's fun because it's like 5 days. You got to get it all done. It's you know, you just may have had the idea last week, and then this week you're shooting it, and it's on the air next week, and it's like that speed and that energy is a lot of fun. You can't finesse things, but there's something creative and exciting about doing things quickly too.
Emma.
Yeah.
Did you like the movie?
Yeah, I really did.
Doug McGrath directed.
I loved it. I thought Gwyneth Paltrow was wonderful. I really enjoyed the movie.
Yeah. When you look, what do you think's happening with all that sort of, I mean, did you start it all with all this sort of fascination now with Jane Austen?
Yeah, they're going to run out of stuff soon.
There's no more Jane to mine.
Yeah.
But we are going through a kind of
Austin Mania.
Revival of Austin Mania and a revival of sort of classics.
Classics, yeah. You know, I have this memory once of being in film school and Robert Towne coming to lecture and him telling us that Shampoo was based on Restoration comedy. And I thought, wow, you know, the idea that you could go back to things and that they translate. Of course, everybody knows
Robert
about
Towne was a screenwriter for Shampoo.
Yeah. And, you know, everybody knows the whole West Side Story, Romeo and Juliet thing, but that there was a whole world of brilliant material that is so wonderful that it makes sense in any time period. And Emma was something I read in college, and when I started to think in terms of looking for a plot that would hold for this wonderfully optimistic person, something hit me, and Emma just came back into my head, and I hadn't thought about it in years.
Do you have any of ideas like that bumping around in your head?
I have so many things bumping that I just have to...
Yeah. Do you have more ideas than time?
I have lots of ideas, but very few that you just like, you know, I call them cold water ideas, because I start driving in my house on Sunset, go up cold water. By the time I get to the valley, I've had an idea and I'm sick of it.
Amy Heckerling, thank you for joining us this evening, our first show from Los Angeles. We'll see you tomorrow night.